Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with the feature race at Fanduel Racing on Saturday evening. Race number 6 is the $250,000 St. Louis Derby. 3-year-olds going a mile and a 16th. Let's take a peek at this field. There's some promising 3-year-olds in here and some with some rock-solid connections. The number 6, Hayes Strike, is 5-2 on the morning line. This horse is already a multiple stakes winner this year, and he likes to take his show on the road. He won the Private Terms at Laurel, he won the Texas Derby at Lone Star, and he's getting a little bit of class relief in this spot. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector. The 2 Billy Jack should show good speed. It's going to be his first race around 2 turns in the St. Louis Derby, but he is expected to be on the front for trainer Steve Asmussen. On the outside, the number 7, Shoulda Bought the Bar, is another horse that has shown speed in the past. Rated a little bit last time out against restricted competition. I expect him to be aggressively handled from this outside post. Tabaguaque is a horse coming into this race off of a 2-race win streak. This horse has good tactical speed, and I wouldn't be surprised if he tucks in down on the rail in behind the lead. And let's take a look at his most recent start. He's a son of Into Mischief, trained by Brad Coxon. Brad put the blinkers on this horse 2 starts back at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. He's responded with both victories, including that race, a first-level allowance where he got a nice trip, just tracking a very slow pace. They almost went 50 seconds to the half mile. He was able to stay up close. He sprinted on home. He earned a career best Beyer speed figure for that effort in 86. And if he can improve on that performance, and I still think this horse is all upside potential, he has a chance to perhaps pull off a mild upset, 6-1 on the morning line. The 2 is Billy Jack, who scored going 7/8 of a mile at Ellis Park 2 starts back. Last time out, he went a mile in an off-turf allowance race, and a mile at Ellis Park's about 1.5 turns. They have the chute basically on the clubhouse turn. You make a hard left, and Billy Jack was able to get a pretty good trip. He got to the front, which I think has been key for most of the Ellis Park meeting, and he set a reasonable pace, 24-2 for the opening quarter. He did take some pressure. He held on gamely to be second, but he was the beaten favorite that day. Now must go longer against arguably tougher competition. The 3 is Carcano, who scored last time out going a mile and an 1/8 at Ellis Park in a maiden special weight, and I like the way he did it for a very underrated trainer in Vicky Oliver. He sat a comfortable position in mid-pack. When it was time to go, Rafael Bejarano pushed the button. Carcano responded. He won going away. He got an 85 Beyer speed figure, which puts him right in the mix with these sort of horses. And that win at a mile and an 1/8 shows me that distance is very good for Carcano, a horse that has hit the board in all 6 lifetime starts and finally put it together in his most recent race. Martin Garcia picks up the mount at Fanduel on Saturday. Dennington has a lot of experience for trainer Ken McPeak. He's run 14 times already. He's coming out of a race in the Ellis Park Derby going that mile, the 1.5 turn configuration at Ellis Park. Now, Dennington doesn't have a lot of early speed, and he's usually at the mercy of race and pace luck, and he dropped far to the back in the Ellis Park Derby. Corey Lannery, as he will do, was able to save some ground. Dennington made a nice inside bid on the turn, angled out 4-5 wide turning into the stretch, and he churned on to finish 4th. I think this extra distance is going to work well for Dennington, a horse that's multiple stakes placed in his career. He's yet to really get it done at sort of these better level races, but if you give him enough pace at this extra distance, Dennington should be running on late for Lannery. The 5 is Slip Mahoney, another one going out for Brad Cox. This horse was second in the Grade 3 Gotham over a wet track 4 starts back. His most recent race at Saratoga was his first race since he was listed as a gelding. It came off of a little bit of a layoff, and this horse showed good tactical speed. He sat off of the pace. He makes the lead. It takes him forever to change leads, but once he does so, he goes about his business, and he beat a useful horse. The runner-up came back to win a first-level allowance in New York with a 91 Beyer speed figure. So maybe that little layoff did Slip Mahoney a world of good. He's kept good competition during the spring, and that layoff indicates that maybe he is a much more mature individual, having been gelded. With the tactical speed to be close or far back, he's adaptable to any sort of race shape. The 6 is Hayes Strike. He started 13 times, and last time out in the Indiana Derby, he just didn't pick up his feet. He fell far behind, didn't make a run, A, it was a wet track that he might not have cared for. B, he was in against a horse like Verifying, who runs Saturday afternoon in the Grade 1 8 Jerkins. The third-place finisher, Cagliostro, came back to earn a stakes placing at Parks in the Smarty Jones with a 93 Beyer speed figure. So he's been facing good competition. 2 starts back, he was in against Kentucky Derby runner-up 2 Phils, and he finished a well-beaten third. But as I mentioned in the Open, he's a multiple stakes winner. Like his uncoupled stablemate Dennington from the McPeak barn, he needs some pace. The 7 is Shoulda Bought the Bar. This is a Kentucky bred who's eligible for Iowa restricted stakes races, and he was wired going 2 turns at Prairie Meadows last time out. That being said, I just think that pace didn't work for him, and I think his running style is more suitable to when he is forwardly placed. They tried to take a hold of him and conserve his energy for the end, and it didn't work out. Again, the horse on the lead just kept on rolling along. 3 starts back against Open Company in the Prairie Mile. They used this horse's speed, and he ran a fine second, only beaten in next. So I think they'll be aggressive with him coming out of the gate. I think he needs to improve a bit from a Beyer's standpoint, but he'll be forwardly placed and likely in the thick of things with about 3/8 of a mile to run. We take a look at my top selections for the St. Louis Derby. I wonder if this pace heats up just a little bit with Billy Jack stretching out in distance, with the 7 likely to show a little bit of speed. I thought Dennington's last race was a bit underrated at a distance that's, I think, a little too short for him. So I'm going to give him a shot. He's 7-2 on the morning line. I'm not sure if that's great value. I hope he ticks up a little bit, but he'll be my top pick in the feature race at Fanduel Racing on Saturday. Best of luck.